Speaking of relationships and real ones that last, let's talk about Obama. Can I just say Barack Obama and Michelle Obama are the two people that I've never met who I want to meet. I am manifesting this. I'm saying it right now. Crystal Carson. If anybody that knows me, that knows the Obamas, Crystal Carson. I want to meet the Obamas. Why? Because this man right here, literally, we need to figure out a way to get a third term for this one. Not for anybody else, because this one needs to restore hope, faith, sanity in the world, in the White House. But that means we get Michelle back. And Michelle has already said she has kicked off her first lady's shoes and she is a podcaster. She don't want no more anything. But I love them so much. Well, I love him even before this topic because I saw this clip circulating social media where Barack Obama is now sparking some headlines in a debate after stressing the importance of boys and young men having diverse male role models, be they straight or gay, black or white, rich or less than. The former president made his argument while recalling being influenced by his gay college professor. Now, Barack, even I want to call him Mr. President, was even supported by his wife, Michelle Obama, who urged parents to push their boys to explore interests other than sports. Here's the couple making their claims on Michelle and her brother Craig Robinson's podcast, IMO. Listen.
That's one of the things that I think a lot of times boys need is not just exposure to one guy.
One dad.
One dad. No matter how good the dad
is. He can't be everything.
He can't be everything. And then that boy may need somebody to give the boy some perspective on the dad.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
One of the most valuable things I learned as a guy was I had a gay professor in college at a time when openly gay folks still weren't out of line, who became one of my favorite professors and was a great guy and would call me out when I started saying stuff that was ignorant. You need that to show empathy and kindness. And by the way, you need that person in your friend group so that if you then have a boy who's gay or non-binary or what have you, they have somebody that they can go, okay, I'm not alone in this. Yeah. Right. So that I think is creating that community. I know it's corny, but that's what they need.
And you don't have to go find it on the internet among a group of unclear influences, and this is a thing that parents, Emma has to understand if her sons aren't getting it,
they'll look for it someplace else. They are going to
look for it because boys need this. Right. Whether they think that they're happy playing video games on their own, and kids are going to seek out some kind of community. So big community, I would emphasize, because they need to have other outlets. They have to be able to learn how to be more than just the sport that they care about. Right. And while they get great skills in sports and they learn a whole lot of traits,
teamwork.
It isn't music. It's not language. It's not social in certain ways.
Right. Don't we love them?
Absolutely.
I watched the whole interview. It's like over an hour, and I just love their voices. Are so comforting.
We need Michelle and her brother on the Jason Lee show, right? You were there when I was I'm trying to figure this out, but I love them. I just love the fact that they're not pushing an agenda. I think they're pushing for people to embrace diversity. And I think that, while I told y'all how I feel, me and Rob disagree about drag queens reading to kids and all that. I don't believe in that. But I also don't believe in sex ed in schools. Like, I want parents to be responsible, but we also know there are some parents who are not in their kids' lives, and kids need to be educated so they can start to protect themselves. So I get it, right? I remember when they started allowing schools to give kids, were they giving them abortions or giving them, they were like giving them referrals to get abortions or something. Like, kids can go in and get like like meet with doctors on campus and stuff like that. I don't like stuff like that.
I don't think that was a real thing, but I think they would have had to have parental consent if they're underage. They can't go in.
They
and have
took
an abortion
away parental consent in some cases where kids can go and talk about experiences they've had or want to have without parents knowing. I don't like that. I don't like the idea of parents being removed from their kids' lives. I think kids should have rights, but parents need to have rights over their kids' lives. I own you until you're 18. I own you. I made you. I own you. That's how my family talked to me when I was a kid. You are mine. I own you. I control you. Okay, whatever. They gave me up too. But anyway, reacting with the rest of the internet, rapper Waka Flocka Flame, I know his mama didn't name him that, had this to say. Listen, kids never be this fool and deceiver. Omara Trippin. And y'all agreeing with this.
This is part of the problem. This consistent bashing of an entire community, when you have to understand, like, if that's the perspective you have, then yes, these young men who right now everybody's completely agreeing young men are being neglected in a way that they haven't been before, because people are like, oh, they're okay, but they're sitting at home, they're calling themselves incels, they're just playing video games, they don't have empathy for other people, they don't know how to connect with women in a way that makes sense, that is fair, that's empathetic, that's safe. So I think what Obama is saying is we need to be able to have space for people in our lives, like you said, in a diverse way, without being threatened by the fact that a man might be gay. Like, just, okay, have a conversation with him, because he might have a different perspective on how to treat a woman. Gay men aren't, every gay man you have a conversation with is not trying to sleep with you. Like we talk about this all the time. People conflate being gay with pedophilia. It's not the same. That's not a thing.
True, but
so,
I also
so gay men and gay women should be able to have real conversations with people in their life, just to give them another perspective or another worldview. That's all he's saying.
I just feel like you don't need a gay man to teach you compassion and like empathy, because I feel like the last line that he said was strong, which is boys need compassion, empathy, and understanding. But I just feel like that comes like from nourishment from all communities, because I feel like you should have friends of all different, all types of sexualities, races, everything. And everyone also in the comments, I feel like clip baited that and was like, oh, why is he talking about raising boys when he only has daughters? But they were literally answering like audience calls. And I feel like he was a young boy also, so he can attest to his experience.
But black men and black boys need a very specific experience in order for it to hit home, because the black community has its own culture and cultural norms of what is and is not acceptable, right? Like, a black man isn't teaching his black son traditionally to be vulnerable, because that's seen as soft, whereas like one of my friends told me literally this morning, he said, I really love showing you affection in public as a straight man, because I think we need to normalize that we can love on our friends in a way that's not gay. And I said, well, first of all, that sounded gay. But I did laugh and joke with him because I understood what he's saying. But I also was kind of surprised that he has to have that kind of forethought in how he engages me, because for him, it's a bigger deal. Like, I'm showing people that naturally you can show affection for somebody who's not like you. But where does that come from? That doesn't come from our homes. That doesn't come from our churches. That doesn't come from our hoods. That does not come when he's talking about our people. Now, Waka's response is indicative of how some black men think.
Correct.
Right. Now, he would be, anyway. Waka, I love you, but I think that Waka's also shown a lot of love for the Republican Party and that whole line, and that's, views are what they are. But I think to attack Barack Obama because that's his perspective, I think we should all have our own perspectives without attacking each other. But yeah, I just wish people didn't care whether you were straight or gay, or need to be straight or gay, just love people in general and embrace diversity. I'm fighting for that in my hometown right now. Just DEI, they think, is about giving black people freebies. No, it's about making sure that there is diversity, equity, and inclusion for all people on all things, and that it's embedded in the policy. So even in my own fight as a city council person, and as a person who understands diversity because I am the product of that, I just don't get why this is so controversial. And you have to wrestle in the comments with it, because I'm not going to fight people who say, this is just the agenda to make our kids gay. Gay people ain't thinking about your kids. I've never sat in a room making policy in Stockton where I said, we got to go get them kids and make them gay. Like, I don't give a shit what your kids end up doing or not doing, being or not being. What I do care is that they have a well-rounded view of the world, that they understand that they don't exist on an island, and that people who are not like them live next door to them too. And that if they identify with people that you're showing them to be afraid of, that it's okay to self-disclose in a safe environment who they are and have the confidence to be able to live out their lives however they choose. I do think that when you look at bullying in schools with kids, when you see kids killing themselves, when you see kids who are growing up with all these psychological traumas because they are afraid to live in their truth, it is because people like Waka and other people who fight against the ability to just accept people for who they are.
For sure. And I encourage everyone to watch the full interview, because it's beautiful, and it's sad that everyone's like taking this out of context. Because if he just said, my professor taught me this, I feel like nobody, will glaze over it. It's the word gay that
Well,
everyone's like, it's an agenda.
We live in a world where people don't watch whole shows. They only watch
Correct.
clips.
And again, it goes back to this: the real issue people have is their hatred for a community that they just don't understand. And a prime example of how beautiful it can be is our friend group chat. Like literally, most everyone in that chat is straight, but they have nothing but respect
Allegedly.
and love and adoration for you or me or Sean or people who in any other circumstance.
Our group chat is not gay or straight. It's just a chat.
It's a chat.
There is a lot of straight, a lot of gay, but it's even in the joking and how we talk with each other. Nobody's offended by jokes or this or that because it's just people.
But they also have grown to understand that your lived experiences inspire them. So a lot of the things that you've gone through, they lean on you and go, wow, now I understand how this thing in my life happened this way and why. And they're learning a lot from being around people who traditionally they wouldn't have, because the world would have been like, don't talk to them, they're gay. But now they understand that the reality is by learning from your lived experiences, they grow as well.
But first of all, I love when you talk about me. I'm so esteemed. But also I think too, when they do get close to me, they go and see how like the internet will say that's Jason's sugar baby, or that person must be an escort, or that person must be gay. They're experiencing it and they're like, wow. Because I'll tell you, one thing we talk about all the time is I grew up with the veil of being straight because of my lifestyle, my friends, whatever. I didn't grow up, like some of our friends who may be seen straight out gay, like they clock it right from the beginning. That I didn't understand that there was even an issue with people conflating gay and pedophilia. I never even thought until I started hearing it and seeing it myself, where I'm like, wow, like that's a thing. And so I've had to go through my own journey of seeing how ignorant the world can be, how mean and cruel the world could be. And I've, me and you've talked about a lot of different things that, yeah, I do think topics like this and having somebody who is so respected like Barack Obama speak on them intelligently, articulately, and away from real pure empathy, I think helps people see themselves in the conversation. I've had friends and we have friends who are like, okay, Jason, I love you, and I've been to the gay club with you. I won't go back anymore. We have friends who have said, I can't wait to go back to the gay club. I have friends who will say, I'll go. I don't want to be there, but if you going and that's where we're going, that's where we're going. So I've always used how I move around and navigate through all worlds of just wherever I want to be, whatever vibe I'm on, to see who wants to go. And I think our group is a great example of that.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Barack, thank you for being an example. Please come back to the White House. Please. Oh, I wake up every day. I have a pain right here called Trump. Today, this is the Trump pain. It's like every day I wake up. First is Stockton and then Trump. Bye.